We're bombarded daily with the message of happiness, right? It's the ultimate goal, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Ads promise it, social media screams it. But hold on a second. Ever notice how the wisest people, philosophers, spiritual teachers, the real deep thinkers, seem to have a different take on happiness? They're not exactly chasing it the way we're told to. In fact, sometimes they seem to reject it. Why? What do they know that we don't? Let's be clear. We're not saying wise people are miserable grumps. They experience joy, contentment, the good stuff, just like anyone else. But their understanding of happiness and their whole approach to life is fundamentally different. It's a paradox, isn't it? The people we look up to for wisdom often seem to bypass the very thing our society tells us is most important. Did they crack the code? Is our frantic pursuit of happiness actually leading us away from real fulfillment? Imagine this. What if the constant, culturally driven chase for happiness is, ironically, one of the biggest things blocking us from true, lasting fulfillment? What if the wise reject happiness, not because they hate joy, but because they understand its limitations, its fleeting nature, and maybe even its sneakiness? That's the big provocative question we're tackling today. To understand why the wise might reject happiness, we need to figure out what they're seeking instead. And the answer might surprise you. So, let's get on the same page. We're not saying reject joy or never have fun. Those are awesome. What we are questioning is the modern, commercialized, often shallow idea of happiness that dominates our culture. You know, the happiness equals constant good vibes thing, the relentless pursuit of positive feelings, and a life engineered to avoid anything unpleasant. That's the version of happiness we're putting under the microscope, the one the wise often seem to, reject. This packaged happiness is often based on external stuff. Buying things, getting likes, achieving status, looking perfect online. It's fragile because it depends on things outside our control. The wise folks, throughout history and across cultures, have always warned against this. They knew that real fulfillment, inner peace, a sense of well-being, that stuff can't be found in fleeting pleasures or the opinions of others. That's the fragile, externally focused happiness they reject. Think of the lottery winner who ends up miserable. Classic example of external happiness failing. Picture life as a play. Conventional happiness, as it's often sold, is like chasing the audience's applause, the superficial praise, the fleeting recognition. It's seeking happiness in the cheers after the performance, not in the process of mastering your craft, understanding your role, contributing to the story. The truly wise, they're less concerned with the applause and more invested in the meaning of the play itself. They get that the real reward isn't external validation. It's the internal resonance of a life lived with purpose. They focus on the meaningful role, not the praise. There is an absolute chasm between the shallow and the deep happiness. It's like the difference between a sugar rush and a healthy meal. One gives you a quick, intense high, followed by a crash. The other builds lasting strength, vitality, and well-being from the inside out. The wise understand this distinction intimately. They see the pursuit of shallow happiness as chasing shadows, while neglecting the real substance of fulfillment, the nourishment of the soul. They're not chasing smoke. They're tending the fire. As the philosopher Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust, wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. So, if the wise aren't chasing this shallow, externally dependent happiness, what are they after? What's their alternative? Is it just grim, joyless acceptance of suffering? Absolutely not. It's something much richer, more nuanced, and ultimately far more fulfilling than the happiness our culture pushes on us. To understand this, we need to shift our perspective, to look beyond the surface and dive into the deeper currents of human experience. Okay, your turn. In the comments right now, tell me, what do you think the wise are seeking, if not conventional happiness? What other goals or values guide their lives? Don't overthink it. Just share your first thought. Let's make the comments a brainstorming zone. Go. One of the top priorities for the wise, often above fleeting happiness, is meaning. Meaning gives you a strong framework for navigating life, a deep sense of purpose, a direction that transcends the ups and downs of emotions. Happiness, in the shallow sense, is a fleeting feeling like a wave. Meaning, on the other hand, is a deeper, more stable sense of significance, a feeling that your life has value and purpose beyond just feeling good. Meaning is your anchor in the storm, your guiding star. Let's build on that journey idea. Think of your life as a long, unpredictable trip. Happiness, as we usually think of it, is like chasing pretty scenery. A sunset here, some wildflowers there. Nice, but fleeting. Meaning, however, is your compass. It's the destination that gives direction to your steps, even when the path is tough or the scenery is, well, not so scenic. The wise know that a journey with meaning is more fulfilling, even if it's not always happy. Meaning provides the reason to keep going, even when things get rough. Building on this idea of meaning, the wise also value inner peace way more than chasing fleeting happiness. Inner peace isn't about avoiding all challenges or negative emotions. That's impossible. It's about cultivating a deep sense of calm within, a resilience that persists no matter what's happening around you. Shallow happiness, it's easily shattered by the slightest problem. Inner peace, though, that's like bedrock. It's cultivated from within through conscious practice. It lets you navigate life's challenges without being constantly tossed around by your emotions. Inner peace is your unshakable anchor. Here's the kicker. The relentless pursuit of happiness can actually backfire. The pressure to always be happy, to project this perfect image, it can breed anxiety, self-criticism, and even despair when we inevitably fall short. It creates this cycle of striving, feeling inadequate, and never quite measuring up. The wise, they shift their focus, they prioritize inner peace and a meaningful life. They escape the trap of chasing a phantom and build a solid foundation within. Think of happiness like a butterfly. The more you frantically chase it, the more it flits away. But if you sit quietly and cultivate your inner garden, your inner peace, your sense of purpose, joy and contentment can land spontaneously without being chased. The wise cultivate that inner garden. They nurture it through mindful living, self-acceptance, and focusing on values that transcend fleeting emotions. From that foundation, authentic joy can blossom naturally. They cultivate the garden. The butterflies come to them. Want to understand this wiser approach? Look at the lives of people you truly admire for their wisdom and contributions. Read their biographies, study their teachings. You'll almost always find a common thread, a dedication to something bigger than themselves, a commitment to values like truth, justice, compassion, or understanding. Their lives aren't about constant giddy happiness. They're about deep fulfillment, resilience, and inner strength. Their lives are like open books, showing a different, more rewarding path. Think of Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, or Mother Teresa, lives of hardship, yet radiating purpose. The typical chase for happiness is like a hunter relentlessly pursuing elusive prey. It's constant striving, often ending in exhaustion and disappointment. The wise, on the other hand, are like patient gardeners. They focus on cultivating the inner conditions that allow for deeper fulfillment to blossom naturally. They understand that true well-being comes from within, from nurturing the seeds of meaning, purpose, and inner peace. They cultivate the soil of their inner life instead of chasing butterflies. Here's a thought. Maybe our obsession with happiness is a game we've been tricked into playing, a game with shifting rules and unattainable prizes. It keeps us striving, comparing ourselves to unrealistic ideals, and always feeling like we're falling short. The wise, they reject that game. They opt out of a system that prioritizes fleeting emotions over genuine fulfillment and inner peace. They see through the illusion and choose a different path. It's a bold move. So, let's get practical. What are the core principles of this wiser approach? What guides those who prioritize meaning and inner peace over shallow happiness? It boils down to a few key shifts in perspective, some profound understandings about life and the human experience. These aren't complicated, but they're powerful. They can be life-changing if you embrace them. Let's unpack these principles. First, the wise understand impermanence. Everything changes, including emotions. Happiness, sadness, joy, sorrow, they all come and go, like waves. Clinging to any single emotion, especially the desire for constant happiness, is a recipe for suffering. Instead, the wise practice acceptance. They accept the full spectrum of emotions, understanding that even negative ones are temporary and can hold valuable lessons. As a first step, try simply observing your emotions as they arise, without judgment. They're like clouds passing by. This mindful observation is the first step to emotional freedom. Second, the wise prioritize virtue and contribution. They get that real meaning comes not from what we get from the world, but from what we give. A life focused solely on personal happiness can become self-absorbed and empty. But a life dedicated to virtuous action, to making a positive impact, to serving others, that's inherently more meaningful and fulfilling. Think about the kind of impact you want to have. Explore how you can contribute your talents and resources to make a difference. Living a life of contribution is a powerful source of meaning. Service to others is service to your own soul. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche talked about gazing into the abyss. It's about facing the difficult, uncomfortable aspects of existence: suffering, uncertainty, mortality. Shallow happiness tries to avoid this abyss, to distract us from these deeper questions. But the wise, they know that true wisdom and resilience come from facing the abyss, grappling with life's complexities, accepting the shadows. It's in this confrontation that we find depth and understanding. Running from darkness amplifies it. Facing it brings light. Think of the wise not as passive pleasure seekers, but as warriors of the inner life. They're not afraid of discomfort or challenges. They see these hardships as opportunities for growth, for strengthening their resolve, for deepening their understanding. They're not seeking a life of ease. They're seeking a life of meaning and integrity, even if that path involves adversity. This inner strength forged in the fire of challenges is far more valuable than any fleeting pleasure. Inner strength endures, happiness fades. Crucial point: rejecting shallow happiness is not the same as embracing negativity or wallowing in misery. It's not about being joyless. In fact, it's the opposite. By shifting your focus away from the frantic pursuit of happiness, you often open yourself up to experiencing genuine joy and contentment in a deeper, more sustainable way. It's about finding a more authentic happiness, not by chasing it, but by allowing it to emerge as a byproduct of a meaningful life. Authentic joy is found in the process, not just the outcome. Let's go back to the wilderness analogy. Life is like a vast, untamed wilderness, beautiful, but also challenging. Shallow happiness is like trying to pave over the wilderness to create a perfectly smooth, predictable environment. But the nature of the wilderness is that it's wild. The wise don't try to pave it over. They learn to navigate it, to appreciate its beauty, to find their way through its challenges, embracing both sunshine and storms. They find fulfillment in the journey, not in trying to erase the wildness. Chasing shallow happiness often puts us in a reactive position. We're controlled by external circumstances, fleeting emotions, and the opinions of others. The wise, by prioritizing inner peace and meaning, take back the reins of their lives. They become less reactive, more grounded in their values, and more directed by their own inner compass. This sense of inner control, of self-mastery, is a source of profound satisfaction and fulfillment. They become the drivers of their lives, not passive passengers. Think of happiness as water. Shallow happiness is like trying to grasp water in your closed fist. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. But if you cultivate a deep inner wellspring, a reservoir of inner peace, meaning, and purpose, then joy and contentment can flow naturally from that source. The wise focus on cultivating that inner wellspring rather than chasing fleeting droplets of happiness in the external world. They cultivate the source, not the drops. The psychologist Carl Jung put it beautifully: who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Meaning and inner peace are the pillars of your inner temple. They're the strong supports that provide stability and integrity to your inner life. Shallow happiness, that's like temporary decorations, pretty, but easily damaged or lost. The wise know that true fulfillment is built on a foundation of meaning, inner peace, and virtue, not on fleeting emotions or external validation. They prioritize building those strong pillars, understanding that genuine joy will find its place within that structure. Build the pillars, the temple will stand strong. So, how do you shift your focus? How do you move away from chasing shallow happiness and towards cultivating meaning and inner peace? It's a journey, not a quick fix. Think of it like climbing a stairway, step by step. Each step is a choice, a shift in perspective, a commitment to a new way of being. And with each step, you ascend to a higher level of understanding and fulfillment. Let's explore some practical steps you can start taking today. First, and most fundamentally, practice mindfulness. Be present in the moment. Observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. This practice allows you to detach from the chatter of your mind, to recognize the fleeting nature of emotions, and to cultivate inner stillness. Start with a few minutes of daily meditation, or simply pay attention to your breath throughout the day. Mindfulness is the foundation for cultivating inner peace. Start small, be consistent, and observe the shifts. Second, identify your core values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to you beyond fleeting pleasures? What principles do you want to live by? What kind of person do you aspire to be? Reflecting on your values provides a compass for navigating life, a direction that transcends shallow happiness. Write down your values: honesty, compassion, creativity, whatever resonates. Let these values guide your decisions and actions. Living in alignment with your values is a powerful source of meaning. Your values are your inner GPS. Learn to use it. Third, cultivate compassion and engage in service. Extend kindness and understanding to yourself and others. Seek opportunities to contribute to something larger than yourself to make a positive impact. Acts of service, however small, are inherently meaningful. They connect you to something bigger, fostering a sense of purpose that transcends fleeting emotions. Look for ways to help others, to contribute your talents, to make a difference. Service is a pathway to meaning. It's about connecting with something bigger than yourself. Meaning, inner peace, and virtuous action. They're like a steady flame in the darkness of uncertainty. They might not always be dazzling like fireworks, but they provide consistent warmth, guidance, and direction. Shallow happiness? That's like a firework, brilliant but fleeting, leaving behind only smoke and emptiness. The wise choose the steady flame over the fleeting spark. They know that true fulfillment is found not in intense emotions, but in inner peace, meaningful living, and compassionate service. Choose the enduring flame. So, the wise don't completely reject happiness. They reject a lesser form of it, a shallow imitation. They seek something more substantial, more enduring, more fulfilling. They understand that life isn't about constant pleasure. It's about growth, meaning, and contribution. And within that journey, embracing both light and shadow, they find a deeper kind of happiness, one that's cultivated from within. Don't mistake this wisdom for cynicism or negativity. It's an invitation to a richer, more authentic way of being. It's a call to awaken to a deeper truth. Imagine your life as a structure you're building. Will you use fleeting pleasures as your materials, easily crumbling under pressure? Or will you use the solid stones of meaning, inner peace, virtuous action, and core values, creating pillars that can withstand life's storms? The choice is yours. Reject the shallow chase for happiness. Embrace the pursuit of meaning, cultivate inner peace, and strive to live a life of purpose. Take action today. Choose one small action that aligns with your values. And then, observe how your understanding of happiness begins to transform. The power to change is within you. You are the architect of your own inner temple. Don't decorate it with fleeting trinkets of shallow happiness. Build its foundation with meaning, inner peace, and virtuous action. This is the wisdom of the ages, passed down through generations. This is the path to a fulfilling, meaningful, and truly happy life. This is why the wise often reject the simplistic pursuit of happiness we're conditioned to chase. Embrace this wisdom. Embrace meaning. Embrace inner peace. Embrace a life of purpose. Your true fulfillment awaits you, not in the external world, but within. Begin building your temple today. Imagine packing a backpack for your life's journey. Will you fill it with fleeting pleasures, easily lost? Or will you pack it with the tools of meaning, inner peace, virtuous action, and core values? Tools that will serve you well throughout your entire journey? The wise choose the latter. They understand the value of inner resources over transient pleasures. They know that true strength and fulfillment come not from chasing happiness, but from cultivating inner resources and living a life of purpose. This is their wisdom, a wisdom that transcends the shallow pursuit of happiness. Choose wisely what you carry. Life is like the ocean, vast, unpredictable, with tides of joy and sorrow, calm and storm. Chasing shallow happiness is like trying to permanently calm the ocean, impossible and exhausting. But genuine inner peace is like learning to navigate the waves, to find your balance amidst the ebb and flow. And a life of meaning is like a compass, guiding your ship with purpose. The wise don't try to control the ocean, they learn to sail it with purpose, calm, and appreciation for both its beauty and its power. And in that skillful navigation, embracing both challenges and joys, they find a deeper, more enduring fulfillment, a well-being that transcends the pursuit of mere happiness. Learn to sail your ocean. Your true destination awaits.